Thank you all very much for coming this evening to the Wolfville Municipal Election Forum. My name is Rachel Brickner, and I'm a professor in the Department of Politics at Acadia, and so I'm delighted to see lots of students as well as community members here tonight. Before we get started, I want to thank our sponsors and then tell you a little bit about what the format will be for this evening's festivities. So just first of all to thank the sponsors of the event. We have the Kings County Advertiser, the Kings County Register, the Acadia University Students Union, Acadia University, the Wolfville Business Development Corporation, and the Annapolis Valley Chamber of Commerce. So thanks to all of those sponsors for bringing us together tonight. In terms of how the evening is going to go, it's going to essentially have three parts. The first part is going to be an opportunity for each of the candidates to introduce themselves. There are two mayoral candidates at either end, just to prevent any kind of rumble. To give them an opportunity to bracket the responses. Then, after the 2-minute introductions, there will be 3 questions that each candidate will have 1 minute to answer, and those three questions come from 3 of the different sponsors of the event. And then finally, we'll be taking questions from the audience that you've put in this lovely box. And what we're going to do in that instance to get through as many questions as possible, and so that not everybody's bored by hearing the same answer 9 times, I'm going to split them up so 3 people will answer a question, and then we'll move on in that way. So I'd like to start by having each candidate give a 2-minute introduction, and we'll start to my left with Keith Irving.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Keith Irving, and I'm ready to serve as your mayor. For the past 25 years of my life, I've been involved with organizations, small and large, including councils, working with teams of people to put into action the vision and goals of communities of people. In the last 6 years, my focus has been Wolfville. 4 years ago, the citizens of Wolfville elected me to town council. I was the youngest member, believe it or not, of an all-male council. So I'm genuinely delighted to see a broader representation of the community running for council in this election. What I have learned over the years, and again on Wolfville Council, is that it is very important to understand and protect the values of the community you are serving while managing the change that is around us. A mayor needs to deeply understand what is important to citizens and ensure that these values are protected as we manage the changing demographics and difficult fiscal environment facing small towns in Nova Scotia. As I meet citizens on the doorstep, I'm often asked what type of mayor I'll be. I'll answer that with a question, with an example. 2 years ago, Council established a fiscal task force to examine the financial pressures on our town and its taxpayers. As chair of the committee, I set in motion a process that involves citizens, the business community, Acadia, the provincial government, and town staff, resulting in a plan that was the blueprint for the future financial health of our community. This process reflected my style of leadership, working towards a council goal by tapping into the expertise of our citizens, business community, Acadia, and other levels of government, to produce a plan of action that will contribute to the continued vitality of our community. That's the kind of mayor I will be. As mayor, I want to reinvigorate the processes that bring citizens to the town decision-making, and I want citizens to feel welcome in our council chambers. Whatever our existing challenges or those challenges that we are not yet aware of, I assure you that I will work diligently and with an open mind with council and citizens to make good decisions that will protect what is special about Wolfville. Thank you.
Thank you. Carl?
Okay. Hello, my name is Carl Olham, and I live in Wolfville for the last 15 years. I am passionate about this community of Wolfville. I've owned and operated the Wolfville Savings Eats for 10 years, and now semi-retired and working for my son, who now is the owner of the Wolfville Savings Eats, Carl Jr. I live here with my partner Joanne. I have 3 grown children, 2 who live in Wolfville, my son Carl Jr., who I've just mentioned, and my daughter Shannon, and my other daughter Courtney, who lives in Fort McMurray. I also have 3 grandchildren who live here in Wolfville. I'm reoffering as a town councillor in this election. I've enjoyed my first 4 years as a councillor and being open-minded to all the issues and learned a lot in this town of Wolfville. I have a lot more to give in this town. I sit on the Wolfville Business Development Corporation as the Wolfville Town Rep. I also am a member of the Wolfville Police Advisory Board. I wear many other hats in this community. Vice President of the Wolfville and District Lions Club, Chairman of the fundraising of the committee of the Mud Creek Rotary Club, weekly involvement in our food bank, and many other organizations who need my fundraising abilities. I'm energized, and I am your community-minded counselor. Thank you.
David Mangle.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for coming. I'm, as already was announced, David Mangle. And first of all, before I forget, I want to everybody has an opportunity to see one of these brochures, in as much as I've been already at 1,200 doorsteps. And if you happen to be sitting at a seat where there is one of these brochures and you haven't received one, please take it. However, if you have received one, please leave it, and I will be able to give it to somebody else. I've been a proud resident of Wolfville because I love Wolfville. And I've been a proud resident of Wolfville since 1982. It was a community that I chose to live in. It's a community that I find is a great place to raise a family. I have 2 adult children and a wonderful wife who's here tonight, and we've all enjoyed living here very much. It's, as Keith was saying, we have a lot of values here to uphold, and that's critical. One of the things I've often said about Wolfville that seems to attract others and keep folks like myself here for as long as I've been here is the fact that we're full of interested and interesting people. We're a community that values culture, it values interesting opportunities. The life and vibrancy is like no other town in our province. And I want to ensure that that continues. And obviously, while two terms on council, you'd think, well, hasn't he done enough? Well, I think we've started a number of very interesting initiatives. 2 I'd like to mention tonight, and hopefully you'll pay attention to see these come into fruition, and that's the Economic Action Plan, which I'll have a chance to say a little bit more about later, and also the transportation study. I think these 2 things that we've got started need to be completed. So I'm happy to reoffer, and I would be honored if you'd be so nice to vote for me come October the 20th. Thank you.
Wendy Donovan.
Thank you, Rachel. I'm Wendy Donovan. I live on Gasborough Avenue, just south of Main Street. And with my husband, we operate a recreation, culture, and library consulting firm that works in Ontario and all 4 Atlantic provinces. And we are fortunate to have an office in Railtown, which means that one of the wonderful things I get to do in my life is walk to work and back and home for lunch. And certainly that was one of the reasons 8 years ago that we decided to move ourselves and our business to Wolfville. A little bit about me. I'm one of the newcomers at this table. I've spent my entire year in and with the municipal sector, and that career has been about 30 years. The first part of that, I was a staff in a number of municipalities. I held positions of Parks and Recreation Director in a rural community, and I held the position of Manager of Policy Planning and Budgets and Administration in a very large, growing municipality. And one of the things that experience gave me was 7 or 8 years of extremely good experience and confidence in municipal fiscal management, and it's a skill that I hope to bring with me should I be elected to council. The last 15 or 16 years I have been a consultant to municipalities, as I mentioned, across Ontario and the 4 Atlantic provinces, and again in the area of recreation, culture and library services. I've had an opportunity to meet with literally hundreds of councils and councillors, and I've seen some really effective ones and had an opportunity to work with them. And I've seen some that are maybe less than effective, and it's those ones who are most effective that I want to bring some of those skills with me. And lastly, people have asked why I'm running for council. I do love this community. I want to be at the table where I can participate in decision makings that will ensure that Wolfville is a sustainable and an attractive community for people to live, raise a family, and ideally bring a business to.
And now moving to my right, Dan Sparkman.
Hello, my name's Dan Sparkman, and I'm running for